Like, give us your best trick. Best trick. Oh! All right, hey, welcome to the very first episode of Take It with a Grain of Salt. We've got our first guest. We are finally starting. What's up, Ed?
What's up?
Ready?
We're ready.
We want to introduce to you one of our closest friends and someone we've been friends with for a very long time. We call him Ty Dolla, but his name is Tyler Woodford. What's going on, Tyler?
What's up, man?
What's good?
Good to
We
see you
have been
guys.
friends for a long, long time at this point, and it's cool to have you as our first guest, which is pretty sick. Like,
Yeah,
you're
thanks
kicking
for
us
having
off.
me.
Feels right.
Yeah. So Take It with a Grain of Salt, episode 1. We're stoked. We want to just jump in to hear more about you and the connection of us. And let's just start with that. Man, who are you? Give us a little rundown.
Who am I?
Give us the
Yeah.
full backstory.
Give us the full
All right.
backstory right here. How about this? Give us some how do we know each other? Let's start with that. Like, when did that all start? How did this table get the
Well,
going?
Yeah, I mean, that goes way back. I mean,
It
shoot,
does.
man. Like, that was like 12 years ago at least.
Yeah, at this point, right?
I was like 16. I'm 28 now.
dang.
Yeah.
Nah, okay.
I mean, just through church and like
Yeah.
skating and just like looking up to you guys, like being
Yeah.
like the older crew of dudes that are around and like just like hanging out. Then we all got to become friends, like closer naturally through, church and what that does for people. And yeah, I mean, there's just a natural progression through that. It was just like we had common interests that all lined up. We all got to know each other very well, and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're in Ventura, but tell everyone like where you live and like how you got there and what you're doing out there.
For sure. Well, now I'm currently living in New York City proper. Me and my girlfriend moved to the Upper East Side of
Oh,
Manhattan
nice.
Let's go.
How long
Yeah.
have you been living there?
since March
Oh, nice.
last year. So
Let's-
we're
Let's
like,
go.
yeah, we're like a
That's
15-minute walk from like Central Park and all that.
No
What?
way.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's
Dang.
crazy.
I love that.
It's cool. I never
No
thought I'd
Like
live.
way.
yeah, right, you were in New
Yeah, I
Yorker
never
now.
thought.
Bro,
live.
how do you afford that, brother?
We
That's
got lucky.
crazy.
We got lucky. We got a one bedroom.
Dang.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
sick.
like cheaper than most of the things you can find in Brooklyn right now.
Yeah.
Really?
It's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
I love that.
I
Alright,
I
so
mean,
you're
the
living-
places that you'd want to like live in that's like
Yeah.
active for like our
Yeah.
age and all that,
Yeah.
like
for sure.
there's options everywhere, but like Brooklyn as a whole is like really hard to move into now, I think. Just
Yeah.
like, I mean, New York in
Yeah.
general is just like crazy expensive now.
Dude.
I
Like
bet.
in this day and age, like it's so different because I originally moved there in 2017 and it is drastically changed since then.
Oh,
Then till
yeah.
now. It's like a whole different place.
You've been there for that long.
And I'm like an
Yeah.
outsider coming in there. I've
Yeah.
noticed these changes, so I can only imagine what it's like for people actually from there and all
That's-
that. But
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when you moved, we know, but people watching or listening might not know, but the reason that sent you to New York was photography. So tell us a little bit about that, of like, what was your goal? What was your idea of like a career moving there? Like, what did that look like for you?
for sure. So like yeah, like I mean, I've always wanted to be a photographer. I mean, not always, but like I found out I wanted to be a photographer like throughout going through school, trying to figure out like a major or whatever, how people do like trying to figure out their life. And then the only thing that really stuck out to me was photography. It was just this thing I always carried with me, but I didn't take it like that seriously. It was just like always with me, but I
Mhm.
loved it. And I took a class in the community college here in Ventura and it just really opened up my eyes, like what photography was. I was experimenting with black and white for the first time, printing in a dark room,
Yeah.
which has its own place in my heart now, which is
Crazy.
incredible.
Yeah.
So that after taking those classes, I was like, okay, like I think this is what I'll do, But I was kind of lost because I was like, oh, like everyone goes to high school, then they go to college and they get their
Yeah.
degree, then they have their career. And I was like, well, what do I do? Like photography is like, I don't know what exactly I want to do with photography, but I know I want to do it. And I like talked to my parents and like, well, maybe you can check out like Brooks Institute or like, I love San Francisco at the time. I mean, I still do, but like I really wanted to live there. I was like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
there's schools in San Francisco, And both of them both schools just end up frauding their students. So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out your private art schools.
Yeah.
You
Good
Mine
thing you-
too.
yeah, exactly.
Good
Yeah,
thing you
yeah.
didn't
Santa
go.
Monica. Yeah,
Art Institute.
shout out art schools. You guys are doing great. No,
Really
thankfully,
showing up.
yeah, they're really pulling up.
Yeah.
They're really taking care of the people. But no, for real, that was what changed
Yeah.
pivoted my whole direction. I was like, well, also to the give more context, I was really into street photography. Like I found that
Yeah.
out, and I was like, "That's awesome. Would love
And
to
tell us
pursue
more about what that is. For those who don't know what street photography is specifically.
Well, street photography, I just found it just on YouTube. I was just
Yeah.
like typing up cameras, what to buy, and then I saw this guy doing street photography, which I was like, "Well, what's that?"
Yeah.
Like, I know street skating because I grew up
Yeah,
skating.
yeah.
Like, what's
Same
street
thing, or-
photography? But yeah, it's like this guy was just like out in the world, out in the street, just like taking candid photos of people, like
Yeah.
moving through life, and it was beautiful. I was like, people can do that with a camera,
Dude,
and it's not just like this guy's not taking a picture of a sunset or like people surfing or something. I was like, this guy's like just him by himself, just like finding these moments, and it
That's
was
cool.
beautiful. I was like, wow, like that's really cool. So going back to the whole school thing, I was like, well, I really want to pursue street photography. Really, what's art school going to do for me for that? Like, it's just me applying myself to the world, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ventura, like, as you know, is only so big,
Yeah.
and street photography is just very prominent in New York. That's like where it's just like where it's at,
Yeah.
So essentially, I made a decision to move out there when I was like 21 back in 2017, and just got a one-way ticket and moved to New York and popped up in Ridgewood. Got an apartment with people I
Never
didn't
did
know.
that.
I
Yeah.
was about to say, I know,
Um,
like
That's
you
crazy.
were there for years, and like it's cool. And at that point, you were shooting film, like you were
Mhm.
developing your own photos, scanning everything. Like you
Mhm.
had it locked in, met friends, lived with some people you didn't even know. Like you really
yeah.
went into the unknown, like trying to figure it all out for a career. And so, has
Yeah.
that been something you stuck with for like a career for a while as you continue to live there, or did you like shift into other areas, or what did that look like career wise when you were there?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a lot to like unfold because like
Yeah.
one had never been there in my life, so I was
Mhm.
like, well, this is different. Nothing's the same from Ventura or California, which was great because I wanted to experience this new chapter in life. So, I don't know, like I just really just started hitting the streets, was just exploring different avenues in the city, just trying to get familiar, and being excited, taking photos like crazy because I didn't have a job right away, so I was just trying to go out and shoot like every day, just like get after it, So
Yeah, that's awesome.
did that, and then
What yeah, I mean, like, what successes have you found doing that for like 8 years or 7 years or whatever now,
take a sip of
would you
water.
say?
Well, I guess to answer it, it definitely like finding like being successful like through street photography.
Mm,
I guess like being successful through street photography is just like being persistent
mhm,
Yeah,
and just like being like dedicated to the craft, especially with like shooting film, like you don't see your images right away, so you're just like going out there like every day, like trusting. It's just like you build like these like
Mhm.
instincts and like these natural reactions to like life
mhm,
because you're like observing people. You're walking down these streets, like you don't know any of these people, but like you're like looking them up and down, waiting for a moment. You kind of like anticipate things. Like what I've definitely learned was like being ready. Like you need to know my camera when it's not even up to my eye. Like having those like reflexes and like
yeah,
knowing everything's like dialed. So you're just like take the picture, but have like some like steez to it. Like you're confident, you're not
Yeah.
like this weirdo just like taking
It's
pictures of
ready, yeah.
people with like this telephoto lens. You're like, yeah, got him.
Yeah.
it's
know?
almost like you have to pretend
Um,
like like this is like your job to do it. Because
Yeah.
I feel like if I even try to do it, you get kind of scared to take a picture. Like, although
I
you
mean,
think it'd be cool,
yeah.
you got to be confident doing, like you said, like that.
Yeah,
makes
you
no
have to be
sense.
like calm and cool, but like it takes practice, That's
Sure.
like what I learned is like, because at first I was like, this is crazy, like I love this, but this is like I'm in it now. Like I'm in a place where I don't know anyone, no one knows
Yeah.
me. I'm just here.
yeah,
But it
Yeah.
taught me quick, 'cause I was like, really wanted it. So like
Yeah.
just being
Wh-
persistent, like practicing, looking at the negatives, being like, okay, well, like that's not good. What can I do? I can fix
Yeah.
that,
Right.
or like this is good. Like, oh my God. Or like,
Hmm.
applying different techniques like
Mhm.
flash photography and close ups and like
Mhm.
different focal lengths. But yeah, I learned a lot,
Yeah, that's
which
awesome.
is
And the benefit we had is like we got to see all of your photos like you post all the time throughout the years. Like we're clearly not in New York with you, but it
yeah,
was always cool to see your work because like if you go back to the very beginning, a lot of the first things that I would learn about photography is from you too. Like not only
I
from
mean,
him when we had like clothing
Evan.
brand stuff and Evan shooting, but like also when you guys jumped into that, like the very first skate video we did or that for like a
Dude,
clothing brand was you. Like
so
Yeah.
good.
there's just things that like we learn from an early age, like or at least for me, like learning from you guys photography and video and like
Yeah.
you shooting like on a camcorder for the first time for skate videos, things
Yeah.
like that really like started that for me and came to my like love for film now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so for you, like looking into like the careers you went through, because you shot with like brands that you said like it'd be so cool if you went to New York and met this person, shot with only New York, shooting for them, which you did for years. Like
Yeah.
you met I'm forgetting the name. What's the guy that we always said that like if you met him, talk to him, he's a street photographer, not
Oh, yeah,
Donald.
Daniel Arnold?
Darren Arnold.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Daniel Arnold?
Daniel
Yes.
Arnold.
Oh.
You like,
Yeah.
but I remember like before you, yeah, see, there you
Right,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
But before you left, I remember it was like that'd be so cool. We used to
Oh,
watch his documentary on YouTube, like
for
before you
sure.
left, and then you like,
And then you met him.
Same,
Yeah.
same with Andre.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
So it's just cool that there
Yeah.
was like we got to see the connection as as life moved on and like your careers like went really well. Now you're like a professional photographer in New York, like doing it.
Trying.
Like I love that. I brag about that. Yeah, I've got a friend who's a
Oh,
photographer in
thanks.
New York.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool.
So part of like our motto, I don't even like saying motto, but like
who
what?
we are. I guess.
Yeah. What?
It's like part of who we are.
Yeah, it's part of who we are. Is this idea of finding time? So like right now it's 9:00, 9:30 at night, and Austin and I are finding time to film a podcast and do YouTube. So for you, what would be those moments of finding time to do things that you love to do outside of maybe street photography or in an avenue of street photography?
I guess through like photography, I'd always have
Yeah.
to find time to like develop and scan my film,
Mhm.
which took a lot of time because
Okay.
I had a full-time job. Then on my days off, I'd just shoot all day. I'd
Mhm.
walk like 10 miles and like
That's
just
crazy.
shoot as much as I could.
That's
I had
crazy,
like 2
yeah.
days. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna waste my time doing anything else besides this. So I would shoot, and if my goal is to shoot like at least 3 rolls,
Oh, nice.
3 rolls of film. And if I did that, I'd go home, have dinner, kind of decompress, and then I would like, even though I was like super tired, I'm like, dude, okay, I gotta do this. I'd
Mhm.
go in my bathroom, load up my film tanks with the film, develop it, and then the next day, either there's like after work or whatever it would be, I'd just like still get the time in to scan it.
Yeah.
Super tedious on a flatbed scanner. I know if you know what that is,
Yeah.
it's a pain.
So
I love that.
But yeah, it would take hours, and it's not the most exciting thing, but I still loved it. So
Yeah.
I just really have to like, I didn't want to do it. It's so easy just to like drop what you're doing, just like
But you had to find the
veg
time.
out, turn on the
Yeah.
PS5, which I love to do. But,
Yeah.
like it was just like, you got to do this. Like it's part of the art.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, because I feel like the sad reality of street photography is like it's hard to make a living out of it. So
I
really-
still don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I
Right.
never know how to do
And like
that
it
one.
really is an art. I think you've realized over the years, it's if you're passionate about it, that really is what you're finding time to do because
Oh, I
it
mean,
is-
totally.
it's nearly impossible unless you're a Daniel Arnold or
And even then,
Andre.
they took years to probably figure it out.
I
Until
mean,
it was
yeah, it's
that,
not like
you know?
it was like rainbows and
Yeah.
easy road for them.
For sure.
Like
right.
their stories are like very
Mhm.
impactful. It's
Yeah.
like they all. I mean, yeah, he had a 9 to 5 very corporate job, and he was
Yeah.
like mad depressed. He was like, "I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pursue
Yeah.
this. Like,
You
I
had to
don't
find the
care."
time.
I mean, that's a very vague summary
Yeah.
of him,
Yeah.
but like, and he like, I mean, he's good. Like he really was dedicated. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it shows, you know.
Yeah, I feel like seeing like your photography get to that where like you're scanning your own, you have to find the time. Like recently, you had a book come out, and I know
did.
there's like a whole process of that still in the process today.
It's right there.
And
what?
like I feel like that is also something you had to find time to do to like
Yeah.
figure it out, see what you want to do. Like, is it the right time? I know you had a show as well, like finding time to make that work. Tell us about the
Yeah,
show
man.
and how that led to the book, and then the process of that, and then maybe we can
Yeah.
get to the next part that'll help really explain that more. But yeah, tell us
sure.
about the book.
Well, you want to know about the book or the show?
Show was first,
The show
right?
came first.
Yeah, this was the
Yeah.
show, and then how that led to the book.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
like how do you even start? How do you even get your own like show?
Yeah,
That whole process.
Well, to transition into the show was to end the chapter on street photography.
Yeah.
Probably a good way to go
yeah,
forward. Like love street photography. That's why I moved to New York in the first place. But then like COVID happened.
Yep.
Everyone left the city.
Oh yeah.
It was scary. Like I was there the whole time. So like I saw that everyone who was there leave. And then when life kind of came back,
Yeah.
it's just this whole different crowd came in. So it was like kind of like the
Oh.
magic of the city, like the energy, it's just my opinion, left with it during the shutdown.
Interesting.
And so like as a street photographer, you want to see people, you want to see like energy and all this stuff. And like obviously right away people are like timid, people wearing masks, so everyone's like no one's really
Get away
like
from me.
nothing's really exciting. Everyone's kind of like
To
have this
themselves.
like little barrier, this little the guard up
Yeah.
Mhm.
type deal. So when I was trying to go back and shoot, I was like, man, like this isn't the same.
Yeah.
It's different,
Interesting.
which is like to be expected.
Yep.
Like
Mm.
people fought through it. People are still shooting street, but for
Yeah.
me, and then also within that, there's also this new crowd of photographers that like people getting stimulus checks. Everyone's buying like M6s and shit, buying up all the film, and I was like,
Prices go up.
I was looking around. It's like, you don't even know what you're doing. Like, you just popped up with this fancy camera and you don't even know how to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, like, this is a lot. Other than like the subject matter is really hard now.
Yeah.
And now you have like a wall of 5 people walking down the same street,
Interesting.
taking all the same pictures. I'm like,
Wow.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out. So, along that being said, I've been practicing like this quieter landscape work.
Nice.
Still all in black and white, which I
Yeah.
love. And I would try it when I visit home, like we are here. And then I would do it in New York and all these places. And I just really was like, I've always wanted to be that person, I think, at heart. But I just love street photography. So I never felt like it was really a part of me. So I would just shoot it and like put it to the side. But I was looking at the pictures or I admire other people's work. I'm like, dude, this is so exciting. Like, how exciting is it to find a random place to find beauty in like the ordinary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And so that being said, like leaving street photography, I just dove into that. I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to go right into it. And I started just making work in Brooklyn and Queens. My goal is just to literally get as far away as Manhattan as possible.
Wow.
Like, get me out.
Mm-hmm.
I get on my bike, ride miles, take pictures of all these different neighborhoods, different parts of boroughs I've never been to. It's all been in Brooklyn and Queens.
Mm.
Just like getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
That's cool.
There's places I never would have thought it would even look like New York.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a different like country or state sometimes.
Wow.
It was awesome. So I did that for like 3 years and had all these pictures that I just loved.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I should probably do, like, I've been in New York for like, at that time, it was like 6.5 years, going on 7. I was like, I should probably do something with my work. Like, I made zines and stuff. I want to do something that's like, this is me.
Yeah.
This is who I am as a photographer now.
Which I have those zines behind you somewhere, just so you know.
Oh
Pretty sure. On the
yeah.
bottom somewhere, I'm pretty sure.
No, probably
Yeah,
down here.
yeah, to the right, I think. No, keep going. It's yellow, right side. You see that right
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Real
that's
throwback.
a G one.
Throwback right there. Issue
Dude,
number
that's
2.
crazy.
Yeah. And so those photos you had for 3 years led into you thinking like I should probably do something with this? So is that what led to the show? Is that how that works?
Essentially, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I had all these pictures, and I knew it was like a body of work. Like it was like pretty decent, like it just depends who you are and like when you're
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah,
show
for
your
sure.
work. But I felt like personally, I was just like ready to put the work out into the world, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have a show.
Nice.
Whatever. I'm just gonna do it. Why not? Like push myself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a gallery in Brooklyn called the Contact Photo Lab. They're ran by the NYC SBC. It's New York Street Photographer Community. I'll
something like
I'll,
that.
I'll get the exact thing later.
Yeah.
We'll put a subtitle at the bottom.
It's just
right here.
it's a film lab ran by photographers.
Oh,
It's
cool.
owned by my friend George and his wife Bora. They're great
cool.
people, but they also have 2 really big walls, and they show artists' work all the
Nice.
time. So I hit him up and I was like, "Yo, dude, this is the body of work. I want to have a show. Like, are you interested?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right."
Sick.
Like, great. Like,
So,
he's like, "Do you want to do
The
it
power
this,
of just
this
asking,
date?"
right?
Yeah, he's like, "You want to have it in this date?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll get printing." So I had at the time I lived in Bushwick in Brooklyn, and I had this basement side to the apartment, so I had my own dark room in there.
no way.
Yeah,
Oh,
I set up my
What?
own dark room. It's like in an office, kind of like this, but at night I'd put blackout
What?
curtains, and I'd just print in the dark room for like
That's
hours
cool.
at
That's
night.
so cool.
Yeah, and it was cool because like my girlfriend can watch TV downstairs, and I would just put on the blackout curtain. I would just be cooking prints like all night. Yeah.
Like literally in the lab.
Yeah, dude. Like I had all the chemicals in there. I had my air filter
Yeah.
going all crazy.
You just got to do
That's
it.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
just
sick.
drinking
Yeah.
beers, and making prints.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
But yeah, so I made all the prints myself in my dark room,
Nice.
which was great. That was my goal too, because I'm working under Andrew Wagner now as his
Nice.
like
Right.
first assistant, studio assistant too, and just working alongside him, I just like really got the respect and perspective and like what it means to like put your work in a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
Because I handle his darkroom prints and all that now. Like
Nice.
I archive his film,
Wow.
handle his prints, clean them, do all this
Is that a lot
crap.
of pressure? Or no?
It,
Or it's
it
like second
can.
nature
It
with you?
can. Now it's like no problem.
Yeah.
But like at first I was like, holy shit, this is what I'm working with this guy.
Yeah.
Like I was YouTubing you like last year, bro.
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
For real.
I was
Yeah.
YouTubing you.
Yeah.
last year. That's what they're
Or
gonna
like
say
years
about
ago.
us. They're
Years
gonna say
ago.
that about us. I was
Exactly.
Yeah.
YouTubing you last
I
year.
was watching you guys. And
Yeah.
like, now I'm here.
Yeah, but anyway, that's why I
That's
wanted
cool.
to print in the dark rooms, because
That's so
just
sick.
following through him, I was like, this is what it means to be a photographer. I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do too. So printed the photos. I had 26 hand prints, and then or printed by hand, whatever, and had a show. Had the Brooklyn Brewery sponsor it, which was awesome.
Nice.
That's cool.
My parents flew out for it.
No
Mhm.
way.
Yeah, my first solo show, which was great.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's cool to have them there, probably.
No, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I was super fortunate that the gallery was able to have me there, and my old roommate made T-shirts for it
No.
as well,
Oh wow.
which is really cool. Had Cracked in the Sidewalk was the title of the show,
Yeah.
Oh nice.
which is now the title of the book. And at the show, people were coming up to me like, "When's the book coming?" I was like,
Like,
"That's a good question,
Yeah.
man. Like, I don't know." And
what do you
then
mean
it-
book?
and then more than like three, like a couple, like a handful of people were like, "Yo, when's the book? Like, what's next after this?" I was
Yeah.
like, after the next day, I was like, "Well, I better get started on that now." If people are asking, like, I guess it makes sense to make the show into the book, like
Yeah.
the big picture.
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, never made a book before. Like, how do I do that?"
Yeah.
So I just got a composition notebook from Target or whatever, and I ordered a bunch of 4x6 prints. Like,
Oh, wow.
I don't know, like 200 of them, just a bunch of prints, and I would just shuffle through them, start making pairs and all that. Got some Scotch tape and just taping them in. I'd just like make little edits, lay them out on the floor, kind of look through them,
Wow.
like, oh, yeah, that goes with this one. This one can go with this one, but let's not be too obvious with the pairing. Let's switch it up.
So there's a lot of
But,
thought that goes into this.
A
book.
lot. And then I thought what I had was like the version. I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
Was just the beginning. it was like
yeah.
step one still. I was like, this
Tell
is
us about
good.
that, because then there's some other things that happen.
Oh.
I feel like with the book, because
Oh, I mean, that's a whole nother step. Now I feel like now I'm at step one all over again, but
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just basically to sum it up, I just like made all these prints into a composition book and then
Yeah.
laid it out on the computer, and then I show my friends just like on the computer, like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Like friends of mine who made books,
Mm.
you know, just who are established photographers. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this work? And I got a lot of insight through that, which made the book as a whole where it is now. With their insight and mine combined, I think it really was really helpful. And that was another thing that was really challenging, was like hearing people's like their perspective on it and like their critiques, which I was like, oh, like that's great. But also at the same time, I felt so protective
For sure.
of the work. I was like,
Right.
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
I'm like, what do you mean about that? I was like, but I like it. But then I was like, oh wait, like it's not just me. It's like there's more than just me looking at the work.
Mhm.
And it made me really appreciative of like people's time and all that. So anyway, book got made. I made 2 proofs. So I wanted to make it right. I had the first one made. I scanned on my flatbed, good old flatbed scanner. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then my girlfriend's like, nah, do another one, man. I was like, yeah, you're right. At the same time, I was like, no, this is it. I want to get it out. And I was like,
know,
no, like,
I know you, and you're like, it's fine, it's fine.
And I was like, you know what, let's be patient.
It's like
Let's
you-
listen.
I know.
Let's listen to your girlfriend. Like, do that.
Slow down a little bit.
You
Do it
know,
right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I did it. I rescanned it on a nicer scanner.
Nice.
Made the second proof. And it was gorgeous. I was like,
Nice.
oh, yo,
Oh,
like this is
this
what a
is-
picture should look
this
like,
is
you know?
good, yeah.
And I was like, dang, like,
This is
okay.
HD.
Yeah, basically. So I got the proof, and then I made the pre-sale. I was like, okay, like the book's good. You know, I made 2 proofs. Like, second one's looking great, you know? So
How
all
did
the
the
rest of them should look great, theoretically.
Yeah.
So I did the pre-sale.
How'd that go?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It was great.
Support.
Overwhelming amount of support, which I'm
Yeah.
so thankful for. Like,
That's awesome.
it was great. I had people in like out of state, like Europe, all these other places hit
Wow.
me up. I was thankful to get books into the Photographers Gallery
Oh.
store, which is in London.
Mm.
They reached out to me
What?
to stock the books,
No way.
which I didn't know about them before, but this guy Nick emailed me. He's like, hey, I'm a fan of your work. Do you want to talk about your book? And I was like, yeah,
Dang,
sure. And I looked him
yeah.
up on Instagram. I was like, oh shit, like this is.
Now I really want to.
I was like, this is a big deal. I was like,
Yeah, man.
very flattered, and I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. So, you know, I was like, okay, this pre-sale's 2 weeks. You know, well, I need money to fund the book.
Yeah.
I did that, ordered the books, and I was coming home for the holidays, as I do every year. And I was planning to ship the books here. They got delayed like 3 times.
Dang.
They were supposed to be shipped December
man.
17th, which is what I originally put in the bio of the book. And they didn't get shipped till like the 31st of
No
December.
way.
And then they got delayed again. And then they arrived on like the 10th or the 9th of January or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the 6th, whatever. First week of January or something. And I was just so excited to finally have it because people were like, no, like excited for the book. Or people were like reaching out like, oh, like, hey,
Yeah,
just
when's it
checking
coming?
in.
Yeah.
Which I was like getting stressed. I'm like, like I know it's a lot. Like it's a pre-order. Like you don't, like no one really knows.
Mm-hmm.
Except like it's just me. It's all me on my end. And then
That's really stressful.
I get the books finally. I'm like, okay, great. I can get these books out. And I open it. And immediately I was just like,
It didn't look good.
dude, it was bad. Like the first one I saw, I was just like,
No.
I like didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just looking, I was like, dude, like these do not look good. Just based off the cover.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, are these bad? Like, are these good? And I was like, kind of
Yeah.
like gaslighting myself in a way. I'm like, oh, maybe they're fine.
Yeah,
You know?
good.
And I was like
Oh,
looking at
man.
them.
Just
And I was flipping through it, and I was like, okay, this is not bad. Then I flipped, and I was like,
oh man.
roller marks across all the pages. I'll show you guys. Like, it was a
Wow.
mess.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Let me open up another one. Look at it. I was like, okay, I'll give it to my mom to look. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And then I like
Yeah.
kind of leave to go look, and she comes out of her room. She's like, Tyler. I'm I'm like,
That sounded like your
yeah.
mom.
I was like, yeah, mom. She's like, this is bad.
No way.
I was like,
Oh.
dude. If my mom's saying this is
Yeah,
bad, it's bad,
it's
dude.
bad.
Like, I was
Yeah.
like, no way.
That's dude.
So that just like crushed me. Not
That's
my
so-
mom saying, but I was just like,
God.
I mean, of course it sucked, but I was
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
okay, this is really bad. Like
Yeah.
my mom's not a photographer,
Right.
She can know the
but she
difference.
knows. Like she
Yeah.
has a really good attention detail, and she
Yeah.
was like, "This is bad. Do
This is-
not send this to anybody." And I was like,
Dang.
"Oh,
Oh no.
like this is serious." And I was going through more and more, and like the same problems like across every single book I ordered. So
Dude.
Man. So what'd you have to do after that? Was it just contact people and let
Contact.
them know? And
I contacted the shipper first of all,
yeah,
the printer.
oh, yeah.
I was like, "No,
Yeah.
can't be doing this."
Yeah.
So just I emailed them and I was like, yo, these books are not good, quality's bad, yada yada yada. I'm gonna
Yeah.
print somewhere else. So I'm getting test prints made today. So that's another thing I made time for.
Yeah.
I was like redoing this whole process, which is a
That's
blessing
so-
though. Like it's a
yeah.
bummer that people have to wait, but I'm just
Mhm.
like thankful I can fix the mistake.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I was very transparent. I made a video on Instagram, like explained the whole thing,
Yeah.
made it very personal. I was like, I'm not proud of this. I don't
Mhm.
want you guys something you're spending your hard-earned money on because books aren't cheap,
Yeah.
and I want to give you something that's like good,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
borderline that can it's passable. It's like
Yeah.
no, like that's not me. Like I want you to have something that's good, like
Yeah.
something you'd be excited about. Like open up that package, that's
Yeah.
exciting. Like when you see it, you want like, oh, this is great. Because I just knew when I saw it right away, I was like disappointed.
Yeah.
And if I'm disappointed, I'm not gonna disappoint all the
Mhm.
people about the book, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I just gotta ask for people more patience,
It's so
and people
nice.
they've been understanding.
Yeah, everyone was really supportive on Instagram for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was really nice to see.
I appreciate it.
That's
Yeah,
brutal, dude. So
yeah,
brutal.
it's not fun, but I'm just thankful I can fix a problem,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be even better.
Oh, for
It's-
sure.
It
the
is.
new printer's like so great. They've already been so helpful,
That's great, dude.
and the
Yeah.
book's gonna be like 10 times better,
Heck
a million
yeah.
times better. Like I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm
And
really
getting to that
excited.
point, I mean, you put all the hard work into it, and like you said, you're finding time to get this, book done and this project you've been wanting to do for a while, and like you just want it to be perfect. I'm glad you like caught that, and so now I bet that's gonna feel nice once you get like the final book in,
Oh,
and
dude,
like
yeah.
That's gonna be-
people get
yeah.
it, and I'm excited to get it. It's gonna
Yeah,
be cool to
thanks,
see and flip through that.
And you've learned a
Yeah, thank
lot in the process.
Well, that's another thing I didn't know what to do is how to make a book.
Yeah.
I was like, don't know how to do a show. Then I was like, figured it out. And then
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
cool.
how do I format a book?
right.
Yeah,
Figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, how do I contact the printer? Now I'm like,
Yeah,
Right.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
great to know.
that's good. And
yeah.
so through all of that, like through your career, photography, or even just the book and the process of that, this is where we get to the main point of like, take it with a grain of salt. If you had some advice for the people who are watching and listening through just your life and in the process you went through, like what is some advice you can give them that they can just take with a grain of salt?
Man, I mean, biggest thing I'd like give advice for, little or however big or small it is, like just being patient.
Yeah,
Really trusting the process of everything. Like if it's life,
for sure.
the art form you're working on, whatever it is, like your personal life, whatever, just like be patient, trust the process, like trust yourself, trust people around you, like listen. Because I have a hard time doing that a lot, I'm still learning, but like, yeah, just like listen to people that like you love and who love you, because it goes a long way, even though you may not realize it at first. Just like really take it in and, just like have faith and like do it,
Yeah,
that's good.
and just like focus.
That's really, dude.
Yeah.
That's really good. I feel like I needed to hear that actually, because I feel like in the world that we live in today, it's really easy to get caught up in like, I want results now,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's like blowing up on social media, and everyone seems like they're really good at everything. But it's so true. Like it just takes time
I
for
mean,
everything.
yeah, man. I mean, that's like how I felt moving to New York. I was like, I'm here. Let's
let's
be the
go,
big
let's get
big
it.
bad photographer guy,
Yeah.
you know, street photographer. I want to be that guy. I was like,
You don't know anything.
they take that photo and like they're famous. Like, look at me. Like,
Yeah.
I can do that. And I was like, oh wait, idiot. Like, you just moved to a new city. Like, no one knows you. How about you like
Yeah.
take it,
Good luck.
take a
Right.
step back and like learn, you know, and like, you know, it's like,
That's
it's
good.
all good. It's like, have
Yeah,
patience. You know, I was
that's
like,
good.
okay, I'm gonna take a step back.
That's really
Let
good.
me,
Yeah.
how about I learn first and like really engulf myself into something. But yeah, I
Nice.
like you were saying, like, dude, everyone looks like they're killing it, doing this cool
Mhm.
stuff. And you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It just
what-
shows. It shows not only the hard work that goes into, it, but also
Yeah.
like the patience people have of like, I'm gonna do what I love, see how it
Mhm.
goes, and try hard and spend that time doing it. And like
yeah,
the
you
final
gotta-
project, the final piece, the masterpiece, whatever you're making, like will be worth it by taking the patience and time.
yeah, you
I
gotta.
mean, it's even for us right now, like with this YouTube channel. Me and Austin every day are like, we want to do this and this and this, and it's like we have to remind ourselves, like, this isn't just things. Success doesn't come overnight. Like, it's gonna take time. We're learning. I mean, like, this is our first time doing a podcast. We're learning how to do this.
Yeah,
I've
And-
never
fun.
done a
Yeah.
podcast before.
Yeah.
Either,
I mean,
Yeah,
who knows
no,
if it's good?
I've probably
Yeah,
hit
you
this
know?
mic like 5 times already.
You
like-
haven't. I've been like watching it. Like,
No, that is true. It's fun even for
Yeah.
us to try to like. We always say we really want to find time to figure things out, and like we love the process of things, and
Yeah.
like seeing you is like it's a cool inspiration for us. Like we've
Yeah.
been friends with you for a long time, but watching you like kill it in New York and actually spend time with like, you know, doing the art that you love, getting you to like the position of like shooting for brands. We said it'd be so cool one day if you did.
yeah.
Meeting people to like your own show and your own book. It's just
Yeah.
cool to see. And so for us, even as your friends, it's like it's a inspiration. And also like we've used you as examples of like, Tyler's killing it. We can do something like that, you know? So
Yeah.
although we
Thanks,
know
man.
what that, how that process is
Thanks.
from the outside, we
It's
see
not
how
easy.
cool it is and how hard you're working.
I
So
appreciate it, man.
yeah, it's really cool. Well, we got a question for you. We call this recess therapy. And what it is we're just talking about a little bit of not only your past as a kid, but we just have some questions that we wanted to ask that would help them know more about you and some life lessons that you learned from what we say on the playground or when we were younger. So if you could relive one day of your childhood, which one would it be and why? One day though.
Film me a basics club skate
Dude.
video.
What would you want to
a
relive?
moment.
Yeah.
Dude.
What would you want to relive? One
That's
day.
also so good. And I'm just like thinking of skating because that's
I
literally what my
know.
whole life
It
was,
is.
other
Yeah.
than like
Every day.
being like a little kid. I mean, I still was a little kid, but
Yeah.
like, I think it was my whole life until I picked up a camera.
Yeah.
That's like all I did.
Yeah. What's one day like? If
Um,
you could even picture the day, like what would it look like if you can relive that perfect day of a childhood?
Dude, honestly, this is like so off topic. Maybe I'll have 2. But
Okay.
I remember one day. This is probably it. This is probably the coolest day of my life.
All right, run it.
I was
I'm
little.
so
I was
excited.
5. So littlest
Oh,
best
okay.
moment when I was 5,
Okay.
maybe 6.
We're going
whatever.
way back.
We're way back.
Way
All right. He's reliving.
This
it.
was the coolest day of my life as a 6-year-old. It wasn't like, no, I was 5. Whatever, dude. We're getting there.
Okay.
Preschool, first grade, whatever it was. Like Yu-Gi-Oh came out.
Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh came out,
Dang.
and these kids at school had like the first deck or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
all playing. I was like, "Yo, cards? Like, what's up with that? You know, I'm like, that's cool." And like, it's Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, "What's that?" And they'll tell me about it, and I'm like, I don't know. This is like what I remember.
Yeah.
I just remember like my mom would pick me up from like the preschool, whatever, daycare, after school program, whatever.
Yep.
Mom picks me up. She's like, "How's your day?" And I was like, "I found out this cool thing. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. All the kids are playing it. Like, it's cool, or something like that."
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just remember like nothing was really said, but we just like arrive at Toys R Us.
Oh.
Like, just-
You
At
got a
the
cool
old
mom.
one.
Dang.
She just pulled up.
No
and she was
way.
like, "Let's get you some Yu-Gi-Oh." And I was like,
What?
Oh,
she-
dude, that's
she
the
laid-
best,
just-
bro.
way.
Dude, like, never asked. She just like pulled up, and we just
Dude.
got the cards, and I was so hyped. Like, we went out to dinner that night,
Let's go.
and I was just like looking through
Yeah.
them all dinner. I probably didn't even eat my food. I just flipped through those cards. But I just remember
Blue
just
eyes
being
white
like,
dragon, like
like,
dark
exactly,
magician.
do you
dude.
still
Yeah,
have, do you
like-
still have those cards or
no,
no?
dude, they're
There's
probably
some-
like
there's
gone
some-
at a garage
Ew.
sale
Yeah.
or something. But
Oh.
That's cool.
I don't know. That was just like
That's
such a
sick.
fun like moment with like my mom just like expressing something I was like really
yeah.
happy about, and she
Yeah.
was just like doing it for me. You know, it
That's
was just like
cool,
really
yeah.
cool, and I was like, wow, like that's really awesome that like someone just like cares about like this stupid card game, but like it's so important to like
Yeah.
people, and like. And it's still dope. Like it's not stupid, but you know, what I
You
mean?
know, I
Like,
got
you know,
you,
it's
like-
just like a
Yeah.
thing. But
But
it's
to
like
relive
I was just
that
like
would
so.
be-
No, that's so
I just remember
cool.
just like being so happy and like
Yes.
wow, like this person in my life did that for me. Like obviously it's my mom, but like
Yeah.
still,
Yes.
I was like, man, I got to think about it all the time. Like mom, like that was. I told her like recently. I was like,
No way.
like you know how cool that
Dude,
was
that is
for like
so
a 5-year-old to be
That's
like,
the best.
like let's
What?
get you some cards.
Yeah. Dude.
Like that was really cool.
Man, that's a good one. That's a
That's
good
so-
good day to relive.
I was
Like,
hyped.
I would
I
love
was
to
hyped.
relive that day. If I had to choose, which I'll just share mine, it's almost similar because it like just random. I remember when my grandma came over and she gave a pack of Pokemon cards to my sister and to me, and it had Charizard on one
No.
and Blastoise on the other. Just
Oh,
on,
that's
the, on the
like-
cover,
oh,
right?
Packs, yeah.
Yeah. Like I was 6.
Yeah.
I was 6. I was probably 5, honestly.
Yeah.
And she hands it to me, and I was like, I want the one with Charizard on the front, and gives it to me. And then my sister has a Blastoise one, and we both open it, and we're flipping through. I had cool cards, whatever, and she opens it and she pulls a Charizard,
No.
holographic Charizard, and I just start crying. Oh my god, what? I picked it with the Charizard on the outside on purpose, bro. I wanted
Oh
It was
my
always the
God.
Blastoise.
I know, but
No way.
I have the card because I was like probably years later. She gave me the card.
Oh, that's
I
the
still
card,
have
yeah.
it like in the case.
No way.
Holographic Charizard, yeah. So it's really hers,
Oh,
but like she
shit.
gave it to me, so
Yeah,
maybe
no,
it's
it's
mine,
yours.
you know. But I remember that day
Dang.
being like, I cried.
That's
I, was
so
like, I
cool.
just
Oh
wanted
my
the
God.
Charizard, and she
That's
got
so
it.
cool.
Yeah, it was a good moment. Well, this has been fun. This has
This
been
was
good.
cool.
We got
Thanks,
through the
guys.
questions.
Hey, thanks for
We
being
did
the
it.
first guest. on the
First guest,
podcast,
letting us
bro.
figure out if we can do this or not.
Yeah.
But for real, we love you, man, and it's
Yeah.
cool to
I love you
to
guys
see
too.
you like kill it and do the
Mhm.
things you love, and like
Thanks.
not only get to catch up with you, but like it's just fun to see the process that you go through because we're learning from you, and like we see it, and we love to celebrate you. So
Thanks, man.
we appreciate you being on
Love you,
here.
bro.
We always want to close with praying for you. Is one of the things we want to do here, and so I'm gonna pray for you before we end, and then we'll be done. Good? Cool.
That's good.
Well, God, thank you so much for Tyler. We appreciate him and our friendship that we've had for many years. Didn't realize how long it was until he said it. And so, God, it's been so cool to see him grow up, and we got to be his leaders to his friends and best friends, God. And so it is cool to watch him do his thing in New York. God, I pray that you protect him. You watch over his process of just his life, but God, also the decisions he makes, the things he does in his life. And the same thing, God, with his dreams he's going to continue to pursue. God, I pray for his book and the process with that. God, I pray that it is something that we continue to learn patience about, but that it comes out perfect. And we just love him, continue to take care of him and guide him. Amen. Amen. Hey, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Episode 1 done. Take it with a grain of salt. We'll see you in the next one.
Subscribe.
That's good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And before you end it, though, we got to see a kickflip or something. Like, give us your best trick. Best trick. Oh. Hey.